Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I usually take off holidays, but I thought with so much going on in America, I used to be down at the Martin Luther King event down at Garfield High School, but not there today. So, hey, I'm on the air because today is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday and also one of my friends' birthday down in Atlanta. I mean, down in Montgomery, Alabama. Miss Alberta Thomas, she's 95. She's 96 today. So they've been on the she's been on the planet a long time. So of course, everyone always tell my story. I grew up in segregation, and Dr. King, I did a lot of work. I mean, he was a great spokesperson for justice. He gave his life for us, and I have a lot of reverence and respect for someone who did work to make life better for us. And also, there's a video out there on NBC. It's called Dr. King's Dream is a Nightmare. It was in 1967 when he talks about how the dream has been stalled and it's been tempered. What else was going on in America? And that kind of pairs what's going on in America today. What's going on in America today is that there's an article on CNN today about the man named Bloom who overturned affirmative action. He's a white guy, and he's proud of that. He's proud of that. And I don't know when his ancestors came to America. I'm going to find that out. I mean, we've been here before the Civil War, before everybody else who want to tell us something, and we built America. Is it right? Daughter said we built this joint for free. And everybody else came after us, except for the people who are already here, the 13 original colonies. It was no West Coast. I mean, the West had not been settled, and the immigration had not been opened up, and so America is a place where people really don't know history, and they don't want to know it. I believe they believe that it's okay to be like it's okay to be like believing that the world is still flat. So, but we have work to do, and it's going to be really apparent here in the next few months and figure out how things are going to go. But I'm always encouraged because I come from a long line of people who knew how to stand, who understand for freedom and fight for freedom, and liberty, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. And one of his favorite quotes that I have a lot of quotes about Dr. King, but one of the ones that I like today, it says it's always the right time to do the right thing, and it always is. And it takes courage sometimes to do what's right. And Dr. King was willing to stand up. Not only him, he had other people with him. And I got some calls today about the rally and the program at Garfield High School today, and how it was like maybe co-opted. I mean, a lot of people was calling and saying, that the black boys had gotten lost somewhere. Well, I tell you, we have to find our voice again. We really have to find our voice because it's necessary. It's necessary for us to stand up and also to help people understand history. And, as I often say, history is my Bible because I love history. I love connecting the dots. And I'll have my friend on here probably in the next couple of weeks, Francis Oliver down in Sanford, Florida. It looked like they had a Martin Luther King parade today. I know they had a parade in Tampa, Florida today. And of course, they had a march here today, leaving Garfield, going downtown, and that type of thing. So you got people who remember. I mean, we left Africa. It's been documented 250,000 years ago at People of the World. And we find ourselves in this position a lot. And I think we find ourselves in this position where we are today. It's because we forget our ancestors. We forget our history. And everybody else can remember their history, but sometimes we kind of with shame of our history. And there's no shame on us because we didn't steal ourselves. Somebody else did that. But Dr. King was a man who loved God. He loved God. And it was his spiritual strength that kept him doing this work. And then you really did need strength to do liberation work. Just like Harriet Tubman, it takes a lot of strength to do liberation work. That's what he was. He was a liberator. like Marcus Garvey, Marcus Garvey was, and one of the things that I want to just kind of touch on before I really get into it, I want to just touch on a little bit about what's going on in Florida. And I'll come back to that, though. I think I'll just start. I go ahead and begin the show with one Dr. King, one of his favorite songs. I'm going to take a break and play one of his favorite songs. Was Precious Lord, Take My Hand by Mahalia Jackson. This is Reverend Walden on the Mother's Justice Show. We'll be right back.
The King County Sheriff's Office is proud to support the Mother's Justice Show. We're an equal opportunity employer that recruits, hires, and trains qualified and diverse police officers to practice constitutional policing throughout King County. With a starting salary of $62,000 a year, scheduled pay increases along the way, generous health, dental, and vision insurance, and a take-home car upon successful completion of field training. This can be an attractive and rewarding career. So join us and be a person that serves their community and helps to bring about positive change. For more information on becoming a member of King County Sheriff's Office, go to our website, kingcounty.gov/DEPTS/sheriff. That's kingcounty.gov/departments/sheriff. Or get more information by calling 206-263-KCSO. That's 206-263-KCSO.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. That's one of Dr. King's favorite songs. You can see why. If you it gives you strength to take my hand, Lord, and lead me on. Sometimes the way is dark, sometimes it's hard. But if you lead me, Lord, I will follow. And that was one of his favorite songs. And, you have to have some songs to do this work. I mean, that's why you had a lot of songs doing the civil rights. I mean, the civil rights never stopped. I mean, I think that we got played when people thought it had stopped. That we've been fighting for civil rights for freedom ever since we were stolen. So he's never had a time to do it. It's never been anything. It's never been true that you had a happy slave. I mean, how can somebody be happy in bondage and not around their family, or if their family was taken away from them? So we've always had to have always been a people who believed in a higher power, and I think that we'll have to go back and pick up some of that higher power to get through what's happening in America right now. And Dr. King was keenly aware what was going on. I mean, he lived in segregation, born in segregation, just like I was. It was the law of the land. You didn't know anything else, and it was harsh and It was a lot harsher in some places than it was in others. And Georgia's always been turbulent. So is Florida. I mean, I think that Central Florida, where I was raised at, it was an all-black township. Started in 1892, and it was disbanded. The governor went and disbanded the papers, just like the Senate did for Disney. But the community was still together. It was not gentrified as it is today. People come in and run you out. So we was all together there, and the opportunity was slim. I mean, but people, could make a living. But man, more importantly, they own their own property. But before I go any further, I want to give a big shout out to Secondary Salisbury. True transparency. Everybody knows he's my son. I was in the Seattle Times yesterday. Seattle organization want to help fulfill Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The dream by supporting Black home ownership. And that's really important. If you pick up the Times and read that article, you can see how we got cheated out of a lot. But because of the work that he's doing, He's helping Black people stay in their own homes, and he got signs. People are putting up the signs in their yard. Black Home Legacy, proud Black Home Legacy person is living there. That's still the work of Dr. King, to be able to house our people. I mean, poverty is something in America, and we slipped back into poverty in a lot of ways. He was concerned about that. He was concerned about equal rights. We still are, but we haven't got equal rights in America. I mean, at all. I mean, we've had some progress, but Black progress creates white rage, and that's what we have today. It's been the white rage that's been going on ever since Obama got elected. And they haven't stopped, and they're not going to stop until they can push us back all the way into slavery. That's exactly what they're trying to do. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to just come on today and say, we got to wake up. I mean, we've got complacence in a lot of ways, and we've gotten way more materialistic. We've made a lot of people rich. And some of those corporations that you make rich, they take all your money and support the GOP, support your own, you support yourself going back into bondage, because these people absolutely use their resources to help support people who really want to harm us. And so my plea to people is let's wake up. We can do this. We're not alone. I mean, we have the ancestors with us. And let's just read another quote of Dr. King. I mean, so many of them. But the first one, I mean, I really like that one about it's always the right time to do the right thing. You're not amazing? You're not amazing. Because we always need integrity. I mean, we need people who we can trust and be trustworthy. And we need people who money can't buy you. If you have enough fidelity and enough steadfast love for African Americans that you don't sell us out. And I mean, I know that we had people who might have worked with some of the slave traders. I mean, but they on the end, they probably got taken also. I mean, we've always had people that work, and you had people who was helping Hitler that was not, you had Jews who was helping Hitler. So it's recorded in history. I can't verify to say that. But I do know that you have people who sometimes want to be on the other side because they think they're going to get more. They want to get more. And that's why Harriet Tubman had a thing. You either be going or you're coming. She was serious, real serious about freedom. And we have to be serious about freedom. He says here, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. I think we're there again. We're going to have to take that first, and we're going to have to take that step, even if we don't see it. And some people might say, what is he talking about? Well, I'm a student of history, and I know for a fact that we repeat history because we have not solved the problem. We have not healed the wounds. We have not healed anything about slavery in America. We have not dug up the root of hatred. I mean, I'm not a gardener, but I always say this. That's a lot of gardeners, but I do know you have to pull up those bulbs for tulips and daffodils, and then I think you replant them. I mean, and it's a cycle. I don't know how many years it is, but you have to do that. And America has not come to terms with that. They want to turn their back on it. And when I act like it didn't happen, but we're in the 14th, we're in the 13th, 14th, and maybe the 15th Amendment. So how can you believe that it didn't happen and that you're in the Constitution? And Dr. King was a student of history. He loved history. He loved history, and I do too. And so we have not, the country has not come to terms. And then a lot of the people who are here today, most of them came after the Civil War. Most of the people in America today came after the Civil War. I say because they came to people the West. I mean, because the Negro was not allowed to go past Missouri. The Missouri Compromise. That after slavery, you couldn't go, except for the Buffalo Soldiers. They were allowed to go past Missouri because they helped the cavalry win the West. That's how the West was conquered. And also 18 million people, Native Americans, have been killed in conquering America. More than 18 million had been killed. So anyway, if we could have gotten to that piece, just to acknowledge the fact that holding people in bondage was not right. Working them for free was not right. I said, what was it like if you could work, if somebody was working, if somebody else was working, and you were using what they had, whatever they had produced, and you didn't pay them any wages. I mean, you got all that money and you got all the resources, and they got nothing. So slavery was the basis of American wealth. That hasn't changed. It was the basis of American wealth. The Chase Manhattan was around then. Chase Manhattan was a bank then. Chase was, and they insured the slaves. So if a slave died, there was some insurance on it. It was property. You insure your property. So I'm going to read another one of his quotes. It said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. And that's really what the day is about, though. Because on the end, we have to be hopeful, not only for ourselves, but for the generations of children unborn. And we don't know if what's going to happen in the future, but we know who holds the future. We don't know if the people who follow 45 and follow that what he wants to bring back to the world is fascism. And these people are ready to harm people. So we don't know, but we have to have infinite hope that there is a bigger power. But we have to be willing to stand up. We have to be, because the one thing that we still have, we have not used since the Montgomery boycott, is that if we could take our money out of the system, we're not helpless. We're not. We spend money every day for things we don't need. We have outgrown knowing a want from a need, and so we spend money every day on things we don't want, things we don't need. But more importantly, we spend money with people who really don't like us. So there's a lot that we can do. And I'm just trying to get people, hey, get thinking and make sure you're going to vote. And talk to your family. Talk to your family about Dr. King and what he did and the life that he had he gave his life for us. So we're going to take another break. And I think this time we might listen to Dr. King's voice always bring me to tears because I was around when he was doing his work. So, all right, let's take a break to listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. We'll be right back.
The King County Sheriff's Office is proud to support the Mother's Justice Show. We're an equal opportunity employer that recruits, hires, and trains qualified and diverse police officers to practice constitutional policing throughout King County. With a starting salary of $62,000 a year, scheduled pay increases along the way, generous health, dental, and vision insurance, and a take-home car upon successful completion of field training. This can be an attractive and rewarding career. So join us and be a person that serves their community and helps to bring about positive change. For more information on becoming a member of King County Sheriff's Office, go to our website, kingcounty.gov/DEPTS/sheriff. That's kingcounty.gov/departments/sheriff. Or get more information by calling 206-263-KCSO. That's 206-263-KCSO.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Talk radio for the heart and soul. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. I usually take off holidays, but I decided to be on today. I want to thank you, Nathan, for that. You know, at the end of the day, we want to be free. And that is the cry of all people. No people wants to be in bondage. I don't care how long the Russians had known freedom, had known no freedom in 1,000 years. 1,000 years. It's been 1,000 years since they had freedom. I mean, you had the Tsar, and then you had the Bolsheviks, and you've had communism. People want to be free. I mean, Ireland was I was in bondage for many years. Northern Ireland was to Britain. They finally got their freedom. So yeah, we were born to be free. That was a song called "Born Free." We were born to be free, not born to serve anybody else. I mean, each person comes equipped with the kingdom of God already in them. The master says, "I've come that you may have life and have it abundantly." And also it said where the kingdom is in us. And we have to learn how to access it by going inside and speaking to our hearts and to our subconscious mind. We came with the gold mine in us. That's what we don't know how to access it. So since we don't know how to access it, people are poor. People are tyrants. I think that they need to control other people so they can have more. I don't know how much more you can have because naked you come into the world. And even though they might have some clothes on you in the casket if you are buried, or either your ashes, I'm sure when you be cremated, it's just the body. So you take nothing with you but your consciousness. I mean, the only thing that lives past the breath leaving the body is all that you've cultivated in your consciousness, and that becomes a spirit. So nothing else that man can accumulate can man take to the afterlife. Nothing. Now the Egyptians, the mighty Egyptians, tried that. I mean, they gave the world a lot from the hieroglyphics and all the things that came out of Egypt. The first pyramid was built in Memphis. So they gave the world a lot. They tried it. They had the pyramids. And they took everything they could with them to the afterlife, but they didn't get to use it because the only thing you take is your consciousness. That's all. So we can gather a lot of things on the planet while we're here, and we need some things to be able to use for our utility, so that we can have a better life. But we can't take anything with us. And so if you're mean and nasty and you hate people, by your spirit, that's all you're going to take with you. You're going to have that kind of consciousness, and then you can, but if you have a loving consciousness, I mean, that's what you have. And he was talking about some dark times. I mean, there are dark times, but as he says, it's when it's dark enough you can see the stars. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Yeah, seeing the stars are hard if you live in the city. My son drove his niece to down to Tuskegee with a horse. So that, he would never do that again. Oh, my Salisbury Grove drove Isis to Tuskegee. Now she finished Tuskegee and she's in Colorado doing some work there at an animal hospital. She's a veterinarian student. I mean, which has a master's in veterinarian science. So. But anyway, it was dark enough to see the stars. It was dark enough to see the stars. And we have to leave out sometimes where we live at to go see the stars. But there's hope in the world. And that's what Dr. King, he was never defeated. He lived with death. I mean, there's one, I don't know if we get to it today, but if we don't get to it, it's called A Knock at Midnight. And I think it's like 7 or 8 minutes. And so check out A Knock at Midnight. He talks about how he had to, find himself because he had, it was just him and the Lord. So, his mom and dad was, they were in Atlanta. He was in Montgomery at that time. So anyway, it's been dark, but we had some bright spots. And the one thing about this, we've been gone for almost 500 years. We're still African. I mean, people want to act like we're not, but we are. I mean, the drums still beat in our heart, as Mary McLeod Massoon says. The drums of Africa beats in her heart, although she never went. She was a daughter of Africa. And that's something in us that will stand up. I mean, really, we're not going to just lay down. I mean, we're not going to just let people just do anything to us. We're not going to do that. I mean, we've been here before. That's what I tell people. That if you were raised in segregation, you've been here before. You've seen this, but it was the Democratic Party then. That's why you have to be a student of history. They were called the Dixiecrats. The party of slavery was the Democrats. Up until they all switched the party, Goldwater, and then they became the GOP. But and all those people went over there. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. And the work continues. I still find another quote here from Dr. King. All these quotes, I mean, man, you know, it's a great friend of Harry Belafonte's. And what he told Harry Belafonte before he was assassinated or murdered, he said that he was afraid that he was taking his people into a house that was already on fire. And the black people was going to have to be the firemen, because that's when he realized probably that it was really a mistake. Integration has not worked for us. I mean, integration, we lost our children. 28,000 black teachers lost their jobs when the integration came in. They never worked again. Now we've had a generation, 30 years almost, a little over 30 years, almost 40 years, of children growing up all over America without a black teacher. I mean, that's really what's wrong. I mean, black kids need the culture, they need history, and they need spirituality. And that's what's missing in all these places. And that's why our children are having such a hard time. Well, our kids are having a hard time. And I don't know if the parents really realize it. And maybe the parents are having a hard time, because a lot of times the parents have to be recovered from having a bad experience. But one of the quotes I really like, because my grandmother taught this one to me: let no man pull you low enough to hate them. My grandmother taught me not to be a hater. Her first husband was lynched by some white folks. And she said, I guess it was the wrong man, but they couldn't wake him up or something like that. So, but she taught me not to be a hater. She told me she told me that hate was not the way. And it's just it's not going to help me at all. I mean, maybe that's the best that white people could do. I mean, maybe it was their hard condition, but we don't need to make it ours. And that was the best thing she ever told me, was not to be a hater. And this is what he's saying: let no man pull you low enough to hate them. I mean, because really, I mean, that's like all these Karens and all these people who just don't like us just because we black. Isn't that amazing? I mean, you don't have to be doing anything, just be at the grocery store shopping. It's amazing. It really is amazing of what black mothers have to go through. Because, you send your kids to the store, they can get harmed by somebody who look like them, who don't like them. You can get harmed by the police who don't like you. You could just be walking across the street and somebody want to run over you because they don't like you. It's like, wow. But what have we ever done to people that deserve this? You see, I mean, if you psychoanalyze this, what's the problem? What is the problem? So, but I tell you, Dr. King was, he signed up for this. So what we're doing now is that in some places they sign up for what you're doing in the world. This is what your purpose is. It's our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matters. And I believe that. Sometimes I'm the only elephant in the room that speaks. Everybody else knows it's wrong. But don't nobody want to say nothing. As if, yeah, it's like, hey, some people will sit in the room knowing that they're going to do harm to people and not saying that's wrong. I said, Dr. King wouldn't do that. And I don't do it either. Really and truly. It serves nobody for you to go along with the okie doke. And say, I read that one already. Let no man pull you down low enough to hate him. Because then the world is full of haters. You don't get anything done. Hate gets more hate. Love gets more love. You get more with love. You're going to get more with love than you're going to get anything else. I mean, really and truly. You just have to change the mind. And he says, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And that's just true. So many people are silent. The minister pastor over in Germany, he said they came for everybody else and he named them. And he didn't do anything because he wasn't them. And then when he came for them, when they came from him, it was nobody else to stand. And that's why, that's why we have to be vocal. I mean, and to say, hey, we're just not going to go along with this stuff. We're not going to go along with this stuff because, as we say, we made democracy real. We fought on it. Most of the laws on the book, we fought for this. Everybody else has come to America and enjoyed what we fought for, but we fought for our own liberation. We're the only people in the world that have ever fought for their own liberation in the country that they were bondage in. Isn't that irony? We fought for our own liberation in a country where we were stolen and brought. And I had to learn a new language. And, at the end of slavery, nobody gave us anything. I mean, all the progress we've made in America, we made out our own ingenuity. I mean, and when I grew up, they took black people's taxes and gave them to white people and put street lights and sidewalks. Give them a community, a civic center, and gave us nothing. So they use our taxes. They put roads in another community and leave us with dirt streets. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's like, okay, we talk about justice and and fairness. And I have to tell people the world isn't fair, and it has never been. It's not fair when the water is so warm that the baby tadpole, the baby salmon is hatching. The hatchery. I mean, the water is too warm that they don't make it. It's not fair that the polar bears are suffering because the ice is melting. No, it's not fair. So, and people say, it's not fair, like the little first grade. Say, well, it's not fair, teacher. No, it has not been fair because man has not evolved in consciousness enough to understand that there's enough for all. I mean, indigenous people always had enough. I mean, it was the Europeans who were starving when they came to America. But the indigenous people always had enough because look where they lived at. The Plains Indians had buffaloes. The Salish native people, they had salmon, all around the world. The Filipinos, they could just go get a pineapple. I mean, they can get bananas, and all over the world. Other people wasn't starving. The starving that you have right now wasn't always going on, like you see in Africa and all those places because of deforestation and a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on. So anyway, I'm just excited to always talk about Dr. King. So I'm going to read a couple more of these here. Let's see. Here's one about democracy. I was trying to find. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. I think that's a good one for right now. It's a tweet that out to the TLP. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Okay. And it's the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many, the needs of the minority. Oh yeah, and the prime directive should be do no harm. Captain Kirk, do no harm. That should be the prime directive here, is to do no harm. But we know that harm comes when people don't think they have enough here. I thought I had cut my phone off. But harm comes when people don't think it's enough. They believe in scarcity. It's no scarcity. Only we created scarcity. And the Creator didn't create scarcity. Man did, Man did. So let's find another quote here before we take another break. Okay, he said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Only love can do that. Yeah, Farrakhan said today, we made Christianity real because we're the only people that ever turned turned the other cheek. And Karen Johnson, I think her name is Karen Johnson. I got to think her name correctly, but she's a Christian. She's a religious authority, and she said that the black people made Christianity real. because she said it was a mythological religion in Europe before the slaves got hold to it. They made it real. Isn't that amazing? And she's a historian, religious historian. And she said, we said it real. And Farrakhan said, we made it real too, because we don't want people who turn the other cheek. I said, we've done everything we could to get along with people. They burned us out, all this stuff. We've done everything we could. So let me read one more and we'll take that. I'm going to read that one again. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Love is forever. It's the only thing that lasts. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host. Let's take a break here and maybe hear a little bit more of Martin Luther King.
The King County Sheriff's Office is proud to support the Mother's Justice Show. We're an equal opportunity employer that recruits, hires, and trains qualified and diverse police officers to practice constitutional policing throughout King County. With a starting salary of $62,000 a year, scheduled pay increases along the way, generous health, dental, and vision insurance, and a take-home car upon successful completion of field training. This can be an attractive and rewarding career. So join us and be a person that serves their community and helps to bring about positive change. For more information on becoming a member of King County Sheriff's Office, go to our website, kingcounty.gov/DEPTS/sheriff. That's kingcounty.gov/departments/sheriff. Or get more information by calling 206-263-KCSO. That's 206-263-KCSO.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. Thank you, Nathan, for that. Listening to Dr. King's voice for us on that video. And I tell you, he's saying something so profound now. We have more capacity. One of my sons has an account at the Black Bank. I mean, the oldest Black bank in America that survived through all the stuff is in North Carolina. It's the oldest Black bank, one of the oldest Black banks in America. I don't know how many it is, but some of them have survived. And so, yeah, he's talking about Black economics. We have enough money in our own, goes through our community to absolutely fund everything we need to fund. I mean, we can almost come up with an insurance policy or insurance for Black people, but you have to have the will to do that. We have to have the will to understand what freedom and liberty is, and understand at the end of the day, we're the cheese that stands alone. We can say BIPOC and people of color all we want to, but at the end of the day, we stand alone. People think that they don't waste their chips on us, because it's been in the collective consciousness that we're bad people. If you put in Black man in Google, thugs is going to come up. How do we get to be the thugs? And these are the people who've killed more people in a millennium, in 1,000 years. You think about that. And 500 years. You think about all the native tribes that's not in America anymore, and in South America, and in India, up in Canada anymore. But we get to be called the thugs of America, of the world. Isn't that an irony? And that's what projection does. And so I can tell my children, they all are in the media, is that, always tell the truth and tell the best story you can. Always, because we have wonderful stories. And the governor of Florida wants to take everything out that has to do with Black. I said, well, shut down Cape Canaveral. Hello. But one for Katherine Johnson, wouldn't be no spaceships going up in there. Shut it down. Give us everything back that we made better in society, and that cell phone got Cotan in. It's a little chip in that. It comes from South Africa. It comes from the Congo. Automatic windshield wipers, give it back. You need blood transfusion, give it back. Give us everything back that we designed. Even the pencil sharpener, the ironing board. the little thing that you put the iron on. Okay. Yeah, just go down the line. It's tremendous. Everything you use, everything people use today on some way or another had a black hand on it. The telescope that sends the pictures back from the Hubble telescope was created by a black man. You know. Oh yeah, the GPS. I call it God. GPS, God powered spirit. But yeah, it's a black lady. We're brilliant. Can't help it. That's who we are. Oh yeah, so many things, you know. A lot of this new technique, to say some new technique about your eyes too. I mean, I think it was a Nigerian woman who created some new technique about eye surgery and that kind of stuff, you know. Oh, when you look for us, and Marcus Garvey said, look for us in the whirlwind. In the whirlwind, and that means to look for us all around. Wherever we are always doing something. Now look at all the music we've given the world. Jazz didn't come from white folks. It came from black people, you know. I mean, they was up in cotton. Other people was up there writing down the notes and stuff, but the jazz came from us. All this good music. Yeah, and some of it is not so good came from us too, you know. The rap. Yeah. And so it's like, wow. You know, in the midst of all of this, we still rising. That's what's the beauty of us. And I look at the little Simone Biles. I mean, I guess she's the greatest athlete ever now. You know, it's like, wow. And we remember Muhammad Ali, rope a dope, the greatest, the greatest. You know, but right now we just resting on the rope like Muhammad Ali. We're not down for the count yet, so we got a ways to go. And as we continue to wake up our children, and to you make sure our children learn to be educated. I mean, education. My grandmother. I mean, I grew up. They told you education was the one thing that the white man couldn't take from you. Might burn down your house. Might and if it didn't kill you, I mean, if it could take your life, but it couldn't take your education if you had an education because it's in your head. Like they always say, once it's in your head, it's yours. That's what they used to say. Once it's in your head, it's yours. And I grew up in a community that believed that you ought to be educated. I mean, it was no social community. It was no social promotion. If you didn't make the grade, you stayed. Hey, there's no such thing as passing kids along that could not read. Today, they pass children along who could not read. It's a tragedy what happens to children. If you get to the 9th grade and you didn't read, you can't read. Well, it's two people who are responsible for that too. It's the parents. I mean, if you can't read, somebody in your house ought to be accountable for that. And then the school. How can you send your kid out there all the way to the 9th grade and some of the kids can't read just reading on the 3rd or 4th grade level? That's a tragedy. It wouldn't have happened in segregation. You might have stayed back a year, but I bet you the next year you're going to be reading. Okay, and it wasn't no special ed. Special ed came after segregation. After segregation ended, because of the Southern strategy, white folks didn't want their kids in the room, didn't want their daughters in the room with black boys, and that's how we got special ed. It came after it was part of the Southern strategy. And the Southern strategy is still working right now. The Southern strategy was to take back everything that we got the civil rights movement. That's been the strategy. And we've been confused. We've been looking in one direction. We've been on TikTok. We've been doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But if you're still a student of history, you'll never be confused. And I challenge people, learn history. Learn history. Be a student of history. Let me read a few more. I've Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quotes before it's time to leave here. Let's see what else he has here. He has a lot of them. Let's see. Let's just see here. I know I have a lot of quotes here. Okay, I think I did that one already. Our lives begin and end the day we become silent about things that's important. I got another one right here. Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a permanent attitude. That's a hard one, isn't it? That's a hard one, forgiveness. Well, from my understanding, forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. We'll never have a better past here. All we can do is forge a future. But also forgiveness also it absolutely helps your body. It helps your heart. we're not holding a lot of stuff in. It's okay, talk about stuff, but you're not really holding it in. Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a permanent attitude. So you know what? I bless Dr. King. I bless his parents. I'm so glad he was born. I'm glad that he came, and he came for a short time, and he did the work that he signed up to do, and then somebody took him out. He got murdered. Life got cut short. But I'm glad that Dr. King lived on the day of his birthday. And you've been listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on there. I'll see you next week. Talk to you next week, okay? Take care.